ego is the false self, born out of fear and defensiveness. Aldous Huxley. Imagine this. You wake up one morning, sunlight gently filtering through your curtains, yet something feels deeply wrong. You rise slowly, approach the mirror, and pause. The reflection staring back at you feels strangely unfamiliar. The eyes are yours, the face unchanged, yet beneath the surface, something unsettling stirs. A quiet, persistent whisper asking, "Is this really who you are?" You've spent your life carefully crafting an identity, chasing achievements, seeking validation, and building a reputation. You've done everything society promised would bring happiness and fulfillment. Yet here you stand, haunted by a strange emptiness, a gnawing dissatisfaction that no amount of success or praise seems to silence. Why? Because deep within you, hidden beneath layers of ambition and pride, lies a force quietly sabotaging your life. Your ego. But wait, how can your ego, the very thing that drives you forward, pushes you to succeed, be your greatest enemy? Isn't ego the fuel of ambition, the source of confidence, the essence of self-respect? How could something so integral to your identity secretly undermine everything you truly desire? Consider this paradox. The more you chase validation, the emptier you feel. The harder you strive to appear strong, the weaker you become inside. The more desperately you cling to your carefully constructed self-image, the more fragile and vulnerable you actually are. Your ego promises strength, yet delivers insecurity. It promises freedom, yet traps you in a prison of constant comparison and anxiety. Have you ever wondered why criticism stings so deeply? Why rejection feels like a personal attack? Or why failure seems unbearable? Have you questioned why you feel threatened by others' success, or why you secretly rejoice when someone else stumbles? These uncomfortable truths point to a hidden reality. Your ego isn't protecting you, it's controlling you. But what if everything you've been taught about self-worth, success, and identity is fundamentally flawed? What if the very thing you believe defines you is actually the greatest obstacle to your happiness, growth, and fulfillment? Carl Jung once warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your ego is precisely this unconscious force, an internal narrative built from childhood wounds, societal expectations, and cultural conditioning. It whispers constantly, shaping your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without your awareness. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche described the ego as a mask we wear to hide our vulnerabilities, fears, and insecurities. Beneath this mask lies the shadow, the parts of ourselves we reject, deny, and suppress. Your ego desperately tries to hide this shadow, projecting an image of strength, success, and perfection. But the harder you try to hide your shadow, the more powerful it becomes, silently sabotaging your relationships, happiness, and inner peace. Arthur Schopenhauer argued that human suffering arises from endless striving driven by ego. We chase desires, believing fulfillment lies just beyond the next achievement, the next validation. Yet each success leaves us emptier, hungrier, and more dissatisfied. The ego's insatiable hunger traps us in a cycle of perpetual dissatisfaction, anxiety, and despair. Your ego doesn't just sabotage your inner peace, it silently shapes your entire reality. Cognitive biases like confirmation bias and self-serving bias distort your perception, convincing you that you're always right, always justified, always the victim. Neurologically, your brain rewards ego-driven behaviors with dopamine hits, reinforcing destructive patterns of pride, envy, and competition. Culturally, society glorifies ego-driven success, fame, and status, conditioning you to believe your worth depends on external validation. Social media amplifies this illusion, creating a distorted reality where everyone competes for attention, approval, and admiration. The result? A generation plagued by anxiety, depression, and existential emptiness. Your ego isolates you, sabotaging genuine connections and intimacy. It prevents vulnerability, authenticity, and true self-expression. It convinces you that admitting weakness or asking for help is shameful. It traps you in loneliness, even when surrounded by others. But what if you could rebel against your ego's tyranny? What if you could reclaim your life, your happiness, your true self. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, taught that true freedom lies in humility, self-awareness, and acceptance. They believed the ego's power dissolves when you stop seeking external validation and instead cultivate inner virtue, wisdom, and tranquility. Breaking free requires radical honesty, facing your shadow, embracing vulnerability, and accepting your imperfections. It means recognizing your ego's voice and consciously choosing not to obey it. It means redefining success, not as external validation, but as inner peace, authenticity, and meaningful relationships. Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of concentration camps, discovered that true meaning and fulfillment come not from ego-driven pursuits, but from purpose, connection, and self-transcendence. He taught that when you shift your focus from yourself to something greater, love, service, creativity, your ego loses its grip and your life gains profound meaning. Here is the ultimate truth, the deepest realization. You are not your ego. You are not your achievements, your reputation, your failures, or your fears. Beneath the mask you've worn your entire life lies something infinitely deeper, wiser, and more authentic. Your true self. Your ego is merely a story you've been telling yourself, a story built from fear, insecurity, and illusion. The moment you recognize this, the moment you stop identifying with your ego, you become free. Free to live authentically, free to love deeply, free to experience life fully. Imagine waking up tomorrow, looking in the mirror, and finally recognizing the person staring back at you. Not as a mask, not as a carefully constructed identity, but as your true self. Imagine the peace, the freedom, the joy of living without fear, without anxiety, without the constant need for validation. This realization is not only powerful, it is revolutionary. It changes your entire reality and redefines how you see yourself, others, and the world around you. So ask yourself now, honestly and courageously, who are you underneath the mask you've been wearing all your life? The answer might just change everything.